What's up, you guys? If you're new here, my name is Kamisha, and the whole goal of my channel is to help you step into more of your divine energy and get into alignment with what you are here to do on this earth walk. So, of course, if you like this type of content and you want more personal development, growth, tips, tricks, how I overcame certain struggles in my life, and how I changed my mindset to be able to not even see it as a struggle, but to see it as an opportunity, be sure to like and subscribe, because every single week I am going to have videos coming out on more content just like this. Today I want to talk about self-investment. This is something that is very, very, very important, something I never regretted. And I know, I haven't always made a lot of money in my life, but I never failed to have money for self-investment just because it was a priority. A lot of people right off the bat are going to say that they don't have money, and when they start making more, then of course they're going to be making self-investment one of the top things that they're going to be doing later on. But it's always later, which is why I don't believe it. Because unless it's a priority now, when you get to where you're going, first off, who are you to say that you're going to get there? I saw this quote the other day, and it really just took me back for a minute, because there was this guy kind of having a conversation with God, and he said, yeah, God, well, during my younger years, I'm just gonna enjoy my time and enjoy my life, and then I'm gonna be wiser when I'm older. And then God said, who said you're gonna be able to get older? So who said you're gonna be able to get there? Who said you're gonna be able to do that? I see people, when I was knocking doors, I would see them and they're like, oh yeah, well, I actually remember this story. There was I don't know if it was a lady or a man, but it was a widow. The other person had passed away. I think it was a man. Yes, yeah, it was a man. And I was speaking with him, and he said, you know what just really sucks is, for me and my wife, we always said when we retired, we were going to travel more and we were going to enjoy life more. And she didn't even get to the point of retiring before she passed away, and she was sick before that. So really traveling was just out of the question. And I can feel the heaviness in the house. I can feel the regret. I can feel the sadness, the guilt, the everything for not jumping in and taking the risk, because truly you have right now, you have today. And everything else is an illusion that you have promised yourself, and your ego has promised yourself, so that you think that you have more time. But really, that's not necessarily true. And so when you see an opportunity, chances are, of course, yes, use your discernment. I didn't always jump on every single opportunity that was presented to me, and nor could you, because at a certain point, you start to have a lot more opportunities. When the universe is like, oh, I see that you really like having opportunities, I'm going to send you more and more. And then you start to get more in touch with your manifestation powers and being able to call things in, and you're calling in these beautiful opportunities. You're going to have a bunch. So of course, yes, use your discernment as to what you should be investing your time in. But also, you have to understand there is a sense of urgency in life. There is a sense of urgency to live. And I don't think that is coming from a negative point. I think that it's more coming from a point of enthusiasm, a point of excitement, a point of gratitude. If you're truly grateful for something, you're going to take action, and you're going to help it and nurture it and grow it. And if you're truly excited and vibrating high about something, you're not going to be procrastinating. You're not going to be putting stuff off. You're not going to be having a list of things that's undone, because that's not true excitement. That's not true curiosity or joy, or all of these high vibrations that you can definitely get yourself into. And I wasn't always there. I wasn't always vibrating as high as I was, but the more that I paid attention to all of the times that the universe was manifesting beautiful opportunities into my life, and the more that I took advantage of them, the more self-confidence I built in my ability to take advantage of them, because I didn't always have the money that I do now. And even with that, sometimes the money that you have, you end up playing bigger games, right? So before it was investing $50 in myself, oh my God. And then it was investing $100 in myself, oh my God. And then it was a few $100s bi-weekly, but then over time, that's like 10 grand invested in yourself, and you're signing a contract and you have to like keep up that investment. Oh my gosh, like that's a lot because it's a commitment of like a longer period of time. And then after that, it's like a few grand, like in a shot, like boom, like you're dropping $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 in like one transaction, and you're like, holy shit. So your levels are always going to grow, but your discomfort, in my mind, shouldn't. So what I tell myself is, when you do this, like if you hear Tony Robbins' story, I don't know if you heard this. Sorry, 1 minute. I need to readjust. I'm sitting on a pillow because my beanbag's outside and I can't bring it back in. Anywho, getting back to my story. If you've ever heard the story of Tony Robbins, he has multiple stories, but I'm just going to focus on one for this. Said when he was not making a lot of money, he had like only a few dollars to his name. He didn't have a ton. I think he probably had like around $50 or less at this point in time. He went out to a restaurant to go get something to eat. He saw this mom and son that were out, and he was like opening the door for her, pulling her chair out, like just being like a gentleman. And Tony saw this and was like, oh my God, like that's so cute, because like it just pulled at his heartstrings. And he decided, he's like, he walked up to them and he was like, wow, like speaking to the son, like, wow, you're being such a gentleman to your mother, and this is beautiful to see. Wouldn't you love to treat your mom to lunch and pay for her? And then the little boy said, yeah, I really do love my mom and I really respect her, and I would love to be able to pay for it, but I just don't have the money. And he was young. He was like 12 or under, probably around 8 or so. And Tony said, you know what? I'm going to give you the money and you're going to pay for your mom's lunch today. And it was literally like some of the last dollars that he had. I think that he left there with like less than $10 to his name. But in the next few days, he made hundreds of dollars, like way more than he was forecasting to make. And it wasn't even something he thought was going to come in. But it was just the pure fact that he gave when he didn't have any sign or physical manifestation of there to be money or guarantee of there to be money coming in. And he was giving and he was putting out into the universe, and he didn't stop being himself, and he continued despite maybe feeling fearful that he knew he was spending his last, few dollars in his account. But freed himself from that fear, took action regardless. And it's not to say that you don't have the fear, because I'll be honest with you. Every single time I make an investment in myself, I feel some fear. I shouldn't say every single time. That's not true. Most of the time. And a self-investment, it can be a course, it can be a class, it can be a seminar, it can be buying yourself new clothes, it can be buying yourself the makeup that you want, it can be buying yourself, if you're a man, maybe you go for haircuts way often than women. Like women, we could cut this shit every 6 months, no one would know. But guys, if they went 6 months without a haircut, you're like, what the fuck has happened to you? Like, why is the troll coming out from the bridge today? Like, get back under your bridge. But anyways, so regardless of what it is, all of these things are self-investments. And yes, of course, I do still feel a certain amount of fear when making certain investments, but my tolerance has definitely grown over time. So now for me, a few $1,000s, like in the thousands, is where I'm kind of like, yee, and then hundreds, I'm like, no problem. But you're going to grow those levels as well. And I find that it does depend on what you're investing in as well. Like, I've never had a problem going to the store and buying makeup for myself and buying lashes. That was never, ever even a thought. But the more that you do this, the more that you're going to be comfortable with it. And then the more that you're going to see it pay dividends, even if you don't see when the money is coming in. And I'm not saying go out and be reckless, but I'm saying go out and be constructive and don't live in fear and doubt and uncertainty and let that hold you back, because it will be the thing that makes you stop living. I look back on all of the beautiful experiences that I have created for myself in this lifetime up until now. And it was always based on taking calculated risks in a constructive way for positive growth. And I didn't always know how it was going to work out, but that was part of the beauty of it, because you get to repeatedly trust fall with the universe, and the universe is always there to catch you all the time. And sometimes you like fall a little bit longer and you're like, you're kind of freaking me out, universe, like, could you catch me faster? But I feel like the feeling that you feel when you are actively falling, and sometimes you don't even know if you're going to be caught, but you're just kind of hoping that you're going to be caught by the universe. And that like panic, exhilaration, excitement, that is like, that's the feeling of living, in my opinion. Because I know that tomorrow, if I lost everything and I went back to ground zero, I wouldn't die. And I would be perfectly fine. And I would say, wow, like, I'm on this roller coaster of life, and it's totally okay. It would be totally okay for any of those things to happen, for an investment to go bad, for you to lose money, for you to lose your car, for you to lose your home. That's totally fine, because if ever you get put in a situation like that, guess what? You find out that everything is okay. And you also find out that, well, you find out this. Are you the type of person to be able to have nothing, put your ego aside, and still find a way to be happy? So that is why I advocate for self-investment, because I believe if it succeeds, you have a beautiful experience with beautiful memories. And if it fails, I don't think I've ever had one of my self-investments truly fail. I think that every single one, no matter how small, there was a payoff, and it did pay dividends later on in my life. And even if it didn't, then I have the confidence to be able to go out there and fail and come back home, or sleep in my car and know I failed, and I'm still perfectly okay, and I'm going to continue, and I'm going to keep on trying. So that is all for me today. I'm going to be back in a few days to speak to you guys again, and I look forward to seeing you.